Sami was a boy who loved adventures. He was always looking for something exciting. New places and mysteries made him happy. Sami was very brave and very curious. He lived in a little cottage with his dog. His dog was called Pip. Pip was a good friend. Sami often dreamed of exploring unknown paths. He wanted to find secrets. Every day was a chance for fun. Near Sami's home there was a forest. It was a very old and abandoned forest. People said it was full of shadows. They whispered it was a spooky place. Not many people dared to go inside. This made Sami very interested indeed. He thought it must hide wonderful secrets. Perhaps there was a hidden path or treasure. The mystery of the forest called to him. He felt a shiver of excitement thinking about it. One sunny morning, Sami made a big decision. "Today I will explore the abandoned forest," he said. Pip wagged his tail very fast. He seemed to understand Sami's adventurous spirit. Sami packed a small bag for his journey. He put in a bottle of fresh water. He also packed some tasty biscuits for himself and Pip. He tied his shoelaces tightly. He felt ready for anything the day might bring. He was not scared, only thrilled. The sun climbed higher in the bright blue sky. Sami stood at the edge of the dark forest. He took a deep breath of the cool, fresh air. Pip trotted happily beside him, sniffing the ground. The trees looked very tall and very old. Their leaves whispered secrets in the gentle wind. Sami smiled. He loved this feeling. It was the feeling of a new adventure starting. He stepped forward into the shadows of the trees. His heart was beating with happy anticipation. Sami and Pip walked into the forest. The trees grew very close together. Sunlight could only peek through the leaves in tiny patches. It was much cooler inside the woods. Strange rustling sounds came from the bushes. Sami listened carefully to the sounds of the wild. He heard birds singing their pretty songs. The air smelled of damp earth and old leaves. It was a little bit spooky, but mostly exciting. Sami felt like a true explorer already. They went deeper and deeper into the woods. The path became harder to see. Old twisted trees stood like silent giants. Some had funny shapes and mossy bark. Pip ran ahead, then back to Sami. He chased butterflies and sniffed at rabbit holes. Sami crossed a little stream with clear water. He stepped carefully on the smooth grey stones. He looked all around, taking everything in. He wondered what secrets this forest held. After walking for a long time, Sami felt tired. "Let's have a little rest, Pip," he said. He found a fallen log to sit on. The log was covered in soft green moss. He drank some water from his bottle. He gave Pip a biscuit and ate one himself. It was very quiet in this part of the forest. Suddenly, Sami saw something unusual nearby. It was a very large rock covered in moss. It looked different from the other rocks. Sami felt a strong pull of curiosity. He stood up and walked towards the big rock. It was much bigger up close. He wondered if anything was under it. "Maybe there's something hidden here, Pip." He placed his hands on the cold stone. He pushed with all his strength. The rock was very, very heavy. Slowly, it began to move with a scraping sound. Underneath, Sami saw a small, dark hollow and something else. Tucked into the damp earth was a roll of paper. Sami's heart gave a jump of pure excitement. He reached down and picked it up carefully. His hands were trembling just a little bit. It looked very old and was tied with a faded string. He gently untied the string. He unrolled the paper with great care. It was a map, an old crinkly map. The paper was yellowed with age. There were strange drawings and lines on it. Sami spread the map on the flat top of the log. Pip came closer and sniffed at it curiously. The map showed parts of the forest. There was a drawing of a tall tree with a crooked branch. There was another drawing of a pile of grey stones. And there was a picture of a small, forgotten pond. A wiggly line seemed to show a path. At the end of the line there was a big X. "This must be a treasure map, Pip," Sami whispered. He felt a thrill go down his spine. Sami decided he must follow the map. He looked carefully at the drawings again. He tried to see which way to go. "First, we need to find that old oak tree," he said. He held the map tightly in his hand. He looked around, searching for clues. The forest seemed to have come alive with mystery. He felt like he was in a real storybook adventure. He was not afraid at all now. He was too busy being an explorer. He started to walk, following the map's directions. He counted his steps, just like explorers do. He pushed past ferns and low branches. Pip bounded ahead, then waited for Sami. After a little while, Sami shouted, "Look, Pip!" There it was, a huge old oak tree, and one of its branches was very crooked. It was just like the drawing on the map. Sami felt a surge of joy and excitement. He knew he was on the right track. The map led Sami further into the deep woods. He had to climb over a fallen tree. He pushed through thick, tangly bushes. Pip helped by sniffing out the easiest way. Finally, the map showed 3 tall pine trees, and there on the map was the big X mark. It was right between the roots of the pine trees. Sami's heart was beating like a drum. Could this be where the treasure was buried? He knelt down and began to dig with his hands. The soil was soft and easy to dig. Sami dug and dug, his fingers getting muddy. Pip watched, wagging his tail with interest. Suddenly, Sami's fingers touched something hard. It was not a stone. It felt smooth. He dug more carefully around it. It was a small wooden box. It was dark brown and looked very old. He pulled it out of the earth gently. What amazing treasure could be inside. Sami sat back, holding the small box. His hands were still a little shaky from excitement. The box had a little rusty clasp. He tried to open it with his fingers. It was stuck fast. He found a small, sharp stone. He used it to carefully pry the clasp open. Click! The lid popped open a tiny bit. Sami held his breath and lifted the lid. Inside there was no gold, no shiny jewels. There was only a small piece of folded paper. Sami felt a tiny bit disappointed for a moment, but then he picked up the paper. He unfolded it with curious fingers. Words were written on it in neat, clear handwriting. Sami read the message slowly. It said, "Courage is the real treasure." He read it once more, thinking hard. He thought about his adventure in the forest. He had been brave to come here all alone. A big smile spread across Sami's face. He understood the message in the box. The adventure itself had been wonderful. Finding the map was exciting. Following it was a great game. The real treasure was the courage he had shown. He felt proud of himself and very happy. He carefully folded the message and put it in his pocket. He closed the empty box and left it there.